Welcome to the Bible Quiz. Today, we're exploring supernatural events in the Bible, those awe-inspiring moments when God's power broke into the natural world in miraculous ways. With 25 exciting questions, we'll journey through the parting of the Red Sea, fire from heaven, visions, healings, and even resurrections. From the Old Testament wonders to the miracles of Jesus and the Acts of the Apostles, these events reveal God's authority over creation and His divine intervention in human history. Whether you're well-versed in these miracles or encountering them for the first time, this quiz will spark your curiosity and deepen your faith. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share your thoughts and scores in the comments below. All right, let's dive into the miraculous. Question 1. Which leader prayed, and God made the sun stand still during a battle? A. Moses. B. Joshua. C. David. D. Gideon. The answer is B. Joshua. So the sun stood still and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies. Joshua 10:13. Question 2. What unusual event happened to Balaam's donkey? A. It turned into a lion. B. It started flying. C. It spoke to Balaam. D. It disappeared. The answer is C. It spoke to Balaam. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and it said to Balaam, "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times?" Numbers 22:28. Question 3. Which prophet called down fire from heaven to consume a wet altar? A. Isaiah. B. Elijah. C. Elisha. D. Samuel. The answer is B. Elijah. Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil, and also licked up the water in the trench. 1 Kings 18:38. Question 4. Who parted the Red Sea, allowing the Israelites to cross on dry ground? A. Joshua. B. Aaron. C. Moses. D. Abraham. The answer is C. Moses. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. Exodus 14:21. Question 5. What miraculous event occurred when Jesus fed 5,000 people? A. Water turned into wine. B. The people fasted for days. C. Manna rained from heaven. D. 5 loaves and 2 fish fed the entire crowd. The answer is D. 5 loaves and 2 fish fed the entire crowd. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Matthew 14:17-21. Question 6. What happened to the walls of Jericho when the Israelites marched around them? A. They were struck by lightning. B. They sank into the ground. C. They fell down after a shout and trumpet blast. D. They burned to ashes. The answer is C. They fell down after a shout and trumpet blast. When the trumpet sounded, the army shouted, and at the sound of the trumpet, the wall collapsed. Joshua 6:20. Question 7. Which prophet caused an iron axe head to float on water? A. Elijah. B. Elisha. C. Ezekiel. D. Jeremiah. The answer is B. Elisha. The man of God asked, "Where did it fall?" When he showed him the place, Elisha cut a stick and threw it there and made the iron float. 2 Kings 6:6. Question 8. Who survived a night in a den of lions without being harmed? A. Daniel. B. David. C. Joseph. D. Samuel. The answer is A. Daniel. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me. Daniel 6:22. Question 9. What supernatural event occurred when Paul and Silas were imprisoned? A. An earthquake opened the prison doors. B. Fire consumed the prison. C. The guards fell asleep for days. D. The prisoners disappeared. The answer is A. An earthquake opened the prison doors. Suddenly there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken. At once all the prison doors flew open. Acts 16:26. Question 10. Who was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire without dying? A. Moses. B. Elijah. C. Enoch. D. Samuel. The answer is B. Elijah. As they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them, and Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. 2 Kings 2:11. Question 11. What happened when Jesus calmed the storm on the Sea of Galilee? A. The storm intensified. B. The disciples walked on water. C. The wind and waves obeyed him immediately. D. The boat sank, but they survived. The answer is C. The wind and waves obeyed him immediately. He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. Mark 4:39. Question 12. What happened to Lot's wife when she looked back at Sodom? A. She turned into a pillar of salt. B. She was consumed by fire. C. She disappeared. D. She became blind. The answer is A. She turned into a pillar of salt. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Genesis 19:26. Question 13. Which Old Testament figure's shadow healed the sick? A. Moses. B. Elijah. C. Paul. D. Peter. The answer is D. Peter. As a result, people brought the sick into the streets and laid them on beds and mats so that at least Peter's shadow might fall on some of them as he passed by. Acts 5:15. Question 14. What miracle occurred when Jesus turned water into wine? A. The wine cured diseases. B. The wine flowed from rocks. C. The water instantly became the finest wine at a wedding. D. The jars overflowed with honey. The answer is C. The water instantly became the finest wine at a wedding. The master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. John 2:9. Question 15. What happened to the fiery furnace when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into it? A. The fire went out immediately. B. They were burned but survived. C. The furnace exploded. D. A fourth figure appeared and they were unharmed. The answer is D. A fourth figure appeared and they were unharmed. Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the fourth looks like a son of the gods. Daniel 3:25. Question 16. What miraculous sign did Gideon ask for with the fleece? A. Fire to fall on the fleece. B. The fleece to be wet while the ground was dry, and vice versa. C. The fleece to turn to gold. D. The fleece to disappear. The answer is B. The fleece to be wet while the ground was dry, and vice versa. I will place a wool fleece on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the fleece and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand. Judges 6:37. Question 17. What happened when Moses struck the rock in the wilderness? A. The rock split in two. B. Fire came from the rock. C. Water gushed out for the people to drink. D. The rock turned into bread. The answer is C. Water gushed out for the people to drink. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink. Exodus 17:6. Question 18. Which king saw a hand writing mysterious words on the wall? A. Belshazzar. B. Nebuchadnezzar. C. Darius. D. Xerxes. The answer is A. Belshazzar. Suddenly the fingers of a human hand appeared and wrote on the plaster of the wall. Daniel 5:5. Question 19. What miraculous event happened when Elijah prayed during a drought? A. Manna fell from heaven. B. A raven brought him food. C. Fire came down and rain followed. D. The Jordan River turned to blood. The answer is C. Fire came down and rain followed. Then the fire of the Lord fell. Meanwhile, the sky grew black with clouds, the wind rose, and a heavy rain started falling. 1 Kings 18:38-45. Question 20. Who was swallowed by a great fish and lived inside it for 3 days? A. Moses. B. Paul. C. Peter. D. Jonah. The answer is D. Jonah. Now the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah 1:17. Question 21. What happened to the Jordan River when the priests carrying the ark stepped in? A. It turned into wine. B. It froze solid. C. It overflowed. D. It dried up and allowed the Israelites to cross. The answer is D. It dried up and allowed the Israelites to cross. The water from upstream stopped flowing, and the people crossed over opposite Jericho. Joshua 3:16. Question 22. What miraculous event occurred when Paul was bitten by a viper? A. He fell dead immediately. B. The snake turned to dust. C. He shook off the snake and suffered no ill effects. D. The snake spoke to him. The answer is C. He shook off the snake and suffered no ill effects. But Paul shook the snake off into the fire and suffered no ill effects. Acts 28:5. Question 23. What happened when Jesus walked on water towards his disciples? A. The disciples walked with him. B. The storm got worse. C. The boat disappeared. D. Peter walked on water but began to sink. The answer is D. Peter walked on water but began to sink. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and, beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Matthew 14:29-30. Question 24. What supernatural event accompanied Jesus' crucifixion? A. The sun darkened and the temple curtain tore. B. The sea turned to blood. C. All the tombs opened. D. A rainbow appeared. The answer is A. The sun darkened and the temple curtain tore. At that moment the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rocks split. Matthew 27:51. Question 25. What happened to Enoch in the Old Testament that was supernatural? A. He lived for 1,000 years. B. He was taken by God without dying. C. He turned into a pillar of salt. D. He disappeared during a battle. The answer is B. He was taken by God without dying. Enoch walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more because God took him away. Genesis 5:24. That wraps up today's Bible quiz on supernatural events in the Bible. How did you do? Whether you aced every question or learned something new, the beauty of these events lies in their reminder of God's unmatched power and His presence in every part of our lives. From parting seas to raising the dead, God's miracles show us that nothing is impossible with Him. Keep exploring His Word. Let your faith be strengthened. And remember that the same God who performed these wonders is still at work today. Don't forget to like, share, and drop your score in the comments. We'd love to hear how you did. Until next time, stay blessed, trust in God's power, and keep believing in the miraculous.